Hi everybody, in this video, I'm going to share with you 4 ways to speed up your case with USCIS. Really quickly, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Michael Ashoori and I'm a US immigration lawyer based in Los Angeles, California. At my law firm, we work with clients from all over the world. We focus exclusively on immigration law and we regularly post videos to keep you informed with what's going on with immigration. So if you haven't yet subscribed to our channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button now. Now let's get started. So USCIS is taking longer than ever before to process applications. So it's very important to know how to speed up your case. And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about. Now, some of this stuff that we're going to talk about can get pretty complex. So I'm going to be including a lot of links down below to help you navigate this different things that we're talking about. Also, tip number 4 that I'm going to mention towards the end of this video is something that a lot of people don't know about. So make sure to stick around till the end. Now let's get started. So tip number 1 is to make sure to include all the necessary documents for your case. And the reason that I mentioned that is that whenever you file a case with USCIS, if the case is not filed completely, if all the required documents are not included, then USCIS can do something called an RFE. An RFE is a request for evidence. This is something that USCIS will send to you if they feel that you have not included all the important documents with your case. The problem is that an RFE can really delay a case and really drag on a case much longer than needed. And the best way to avoid an RFE is to include as many documents as you can that are pertinent and relevant to your filing. So again, tip number 1 is to include all the required documents for your case to avoid an RFE. Now let's move on to tip number 2, which is called premium processing. So many of you probably already know about this, but USCIS offers an optional service called premium processing. Premium processing is where you pay an additional fee for your case and USCIS will process it within 15 calendar days for an additional fee. So, with USCIS, some cases can take 6 months, 8 months, or even longer to process. But if premium processing is available, you can pay an additional fee and USCIS will get back to you within 15 calendar days. So it can be a major benefit. Now, a couple points about premium processing. One is that it's only available for certain types of cases. It's not available for every type of case. So if you want to do premium processing, make sure that your case type is eligible for premium processing. Tip number 2, or at least pointer number 2 about premium processing, is that you can make a request for premium processing even after you've filed your case. So if you filed your case and then you find out, oh, I want to do premium processing, you can still do it by paying the additional fee and making the request. Now, I'm going to put a link down below, which is to a USCIS resource all about premium processing. So again, tip number 2 is premium processing, which can do wonders for speeding up your case. Now, tip number 3 is called making a service request with USCIS. Basically, a service request is when you inquire with USCIS formally about the status of your case. Now, service requests, making a service request, it's important to know the details of how to do it. I'm going to put a link down below for the USCIS resource on service requests. So be sure to check that out. But an important thing that I want to mention is that you can only make a service request once your case has been processing outside of normal processing times. So what that means is that USCIS has a resource called the Case Processing Times link. It's a link that you go to, and I'm going to link to it down below, and it shows you how long each case type usually processes for. So for example, it might say for an I-130, it takes between 9 months and 13 months, for example. In order to make an expedite request, you have to make sure that your case has been processing beyond the maximum time stated on the case processing time resource. So you have to make sure that your case was processing beyond the 13 months specified on the USCIS website. So again, and in the link below, I'm going to link to the USCIS case processing time website, and I'm going to link to the service request website. And again, for you to make a service request, you first have to check the processing time website, make sure that your case is beyond normal processing times, and then make the service request, okay? And again, a service request, what it does is it's you making an inquiry with USCIS saying, what's going on with my case? And generally, it can have the effect of helping to speed up the processing of your case. Again, so tip number 3 is to make a service request with USCIS. Now let's move on to tip number 4. A lot of people don't know about this, but it's called making an expedite request with USCIS. An expedite request is much different than a service request. It's much different than premium processing. It's its own thing. And basically what it is when you make an expedite request, you are requesting for USCIS to basically put your case to the top of the list, focus extra special attention on your case to process it very fast. And a couple points that I want to mention about making an expedite request is that one is that it's also, there's a procedure that needs to be followed on how to do it. And you know, it's a lot of information. So I'm going to be linking again down below to a USCIS resource on how to do an expedite request. That's point number 1. Point number 2 is that USCIS approves expedite requests on a case-by-case basis. So it's not that every time somebody makes an expedite request, it's not necessarily going to be approved. You know, USCIS will view a request and will decide to approve or deny it on a case-by-case basis. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that later on. Now, so again, that's point number 2. Another point that I want to mention about expedite requests is that in order to do one, you have to submit documentation supporting your request. So again, there's various reasons why somebody can request expedited processing, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. And it's important that when you make a request for expedited processing, you have to submit documentation to support your request. And the last point about expedited processing that I want to mention is that you can only do a request for expedited processing if premium processing does not exist. So if premium processing exists, you should do the premium processing. But if there is no premium processing for your case type, then you can do an expedite request. Okay, so now I went through a bunch of details about expedited processing. Now I want to mention what are the reasons why somebody can request expedited processing. So the first reason that somebody can request expedited processing is that if a person or a business is going to suffer severe financial loss. So if there's a person or a company that's going to suffer severe financial loss, that can be a basis to request expedited processing. Another reason why somebody could request expedited processing is if there is a humanitarian emergency going on. So if there's some type of a humanitarian emergency, then that could be a reason to request expedited processing. Another reason why USCIS can approve expedited processing is if it's in the government's interest. So if there's a government interest to speed up the processing of a case, USCIS can also consider that. And lastly, Another reason why USCIS would consider expedited processing is if there's a significant USCIS error that took place. So if USCIS made an error of some kind in the processing of a case, that can be another basis to do expedited processing. Okay guys, so just like I mentioned, today we went through 4 tips on how to speed up your case with USCIS. To recap, tip number 1 is to make sure that you include the right documents with your case and to not leave out any of the important documents of your case, because it can result in a request for evidence which can slow down your case. The second tip that we mentioned was premium processing, which can help to speed up your case. The third tip that we mentioned was making a service request with USCIS. Again, I'm going to include the links for that below. And the fourth tip that we talked about was making an expedite request with USCIS. So I hope you guys found this video extremely helpful. If you know anybody that could benefit from this information, definitely go ahead and share this video with them. We're all about empowering you with knowledge. And the best way to help spread the word is to share this video. Also, if you have any questions, put them in the comments below. And if you like this video, please go ahead and hit the like button. When you like the video, it really helps us out. And again, if you haven't already done so, please go ahead and subscribe to our channel. Again, we regularly post immigration videos, and the best way for you to stay up to date with our videos is to subscribe to our channel. So if you haven't already done so, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next video.